guys, Kim here, and you are tuned into Kim E, the Diabetes MP, a place where nurse practitioners can improve their diabetes education and management skills. Now, today we are going to talk about goal setting for the nurse practitioner. Now, last year about this time, I went through goal setting for the nurse in the clinic, and then I also made a video for patients and helping your patients to goal set as well. I created a SMART goal workbook, a 12-month workbook. It is 100% free, and it is part of my NP Diabetes Starter Pack, and I will link it in the description box if you're interested. But today, I kind of want to talk about the importance and really unpack the importance of goal setting, okay? And why it's important for nurses to do this as nurse practitioners, why this would definitely help us with our patient outcomes, and how this would help our patients get the outcomes that they desire as well. So if you're interested in learning more, stay tuned. We're going to get into it. So let's talk about the importance of goal setting. Why should we goal set, and how should we go about helping our patients goal set? Okay, now the reason why a person with diabetes would need to set goals, because this gives us something to work toward. Okay, this gives us not only something to work toward, but gives us an action plan to reach our desired outcome. Okay, now when you sit down with your patient and you ask them, okay, so what is it that you desire? You know, is it that you want to decrease your A1C? Is it that you want to come off of your medications? That can be a goal for them. You know, hearing them out and hearing what's important to them will help you be able to, it will really help you guide. It will really help guide your care and how you would go about setting your care plan. Now, something with goal setting as well is that this is something that should be, a goal is something that should be able to be monitored, and later on, we should be able to evaluate our progress as well. Now, the great thing about progress is that it can really motivate us to keep pushing forward. So, for instance, if you have a patient who is trying to lose weight, for instance, and they set a goal that they want to lose at least 20 pounds within the next couple of months. And they come in, let's say in a couple of weeks, and they have already taken off 5 pounds. Well, that motivates any of us to keep it moving. If we see that our efforts are working, that motivates us to keep going. So goal setting is a very motivating thing. And really with goals, you really want to find that balance between what would be motivating and what would be discouraging, because sometimes we can set goals so stout that they're not reachable. And when we don't reach that milestone, it can be discouraging. So you really want to be able to find that balance where it's still like motivating, but it's not discouraging as well. So let me explain this just a tad bit more. It needs to be a good marriage between feasible and difficulty as well. So you don't want to set a goal that is so easy that somebody could just blink and they can do it. It needs to be something that's possible, but it is something that they will definitely have to put some work in. So going back to losing weight, you can set a goal. The overall goal can be, I want to lose weight. Well, how are we going to lose weight? And maybe one of your actionable goals, one of your actionable plans is that you're going to exercise a certain amount of time during the day. Saying that I'm going to walk for 5 minutes, it's probably not going to help that patient reach their goal if they're only walking 5 minutes a day. But if you say, hey, let's walk 30 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week, that is something that somebody actually is going to have to be intentional for, but it's broken up in increments where it is still possible and feasible for them to do it. And I hope that really makes sense. You want it to not be so easy where it's not like any undertaking for them, but you want it to be something that they do have to be intentional for. And again, our patients have to be the one that drives this. These are their goals, meaning that they need to own their goals. We as the provider, we're the coach, okay? We're like the guide. We help them, and we help them to be able to organize what they're trying to do. But at the same time, this is something that your patient has to do for themselves. Going back to my last video, the self-management part, it's on the patient, okay? So we have to make sure that we are keeping ourselves in the right role when it comes to goal setting with our patients. So let's talk about establishing goals. Now, typically, you will establish the goals, and the goal setting happens after you do like an assessment with the patient. So after you sit down and you actually talk to your patient and you actually see what's important to them, what is it that is important to them? Not you as the provider, but what is it that they want to accomplish? This is when you start drawing up what the goals would be. Now, a common way that we can set goals, and this is not just with nursing, this is just not with patients with diabetes, but this is a common way that people in general set goals, is with an acronym called SMART goals. Now, I have made a video over this, like I have already stated before, going over SMART goals. Like I mentioned, I have a whole workbook, a 12-month workbook that goes over SMART goals, but it's a very simple and common way. And that's why I always go back to SMART goals, because it actually works, okay? Now, SMART is an acronym, and the acronym is S is for specific, M is for measurable, A is attainable, R is relevant, and T is time bound. Now, there has been some modifications to that where they've added an E and an R for smarter goals. The E is for evaluation and R is for readjust. Okay. And really, I like that model better because, of course, you're going to need to evaluate and readjust your goals as needed. Now, this is something that I really love because this is what helps us get that behavior change. Okay. The behavior change is that buy-in that the patient will do. It's what we don't want is just our patient to just take in all this information and it goes nowhere. We actually want to see change, okay? And the way that you get that is through behavior changes, changing what people normally do, them making this a lifestyle change. Now, what I would like to do is just kind of like give you guys some term distinction, because I think sometimes we can get these terms mixed up, and this will really help you be able to set some good, clear goals with your patient. So there's 3 terms that I want to go over. I want to really define and really nail down what a goal is, what a learning objective is, and what a behavioral objective is. And this will really help you when it comes to like setting goals as to what it is that we're really trying to do here. Now, with a goal, that is basically your big picture, okay? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is the end goal, okay? That is what a goal is. So let's say that you ask your patient that and they say, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 50 pounds. Okay, all righty. We'll go with that. That is their end goal. They want to lose weight and they want to lose a specific amount of weight. Now, going into learning objective, a learning objective is like knowledge, them learning something. And if you can go back to school and you remember when you were sitting through presentations, and at the beginning of the presentation, your teacher or instructor would say, at the end of this lesson, the learner will learn blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? That's what a learning objective is that by the end of this, you'll have this knowledge on X, Y, and Z. You'll be able to state X, Y, and Z. So when we're talking about losing weight and what a learning objective would be for a person who would want to lose weight, maybe they want to, they've evaluated that they need to do this by modifying their diet. So part of them losing weight is understanding and gaining knowledge as to the different components with nutrition. Carbs, for instance. So a learning objective, an example of a learning objective would be something like, well, they would be able to identify what a carb is. Okay. Now, this is not something that they would enact in their lifestyle. This is not the end goal, but this is something, knowing what a carb is something that would be important for them to know to reach their goal of losing weight. So yes, a person with diabetes should know how to identify what foods are carbs. Now, the last part of this is behavioral objectives. Now, this is really where we want our patients to really get. We do want them to have we do want them to set their goal. We want them to have learning objectives, but we definitely want them to have behavioral objectives as well. And so here is when you would be able to apply what you have learned in the learning objective to your life, which would then give us a behavioral change. So let's go back to our example. The goal is to lose weight. We've identified that part of losing weight is knowing more about nutrition. We've already learned through our learning objective how to identify what foods have carbs, how to count carbs. So now the patient would now know how to set up a diet plan or a nutritional plan that has a certain amount of carbs. Let's say, let me just throw out a number here. The patient will know how to have 3 carbs within each meal. For breakfast and lunch, the patient will now be able to set up a meal plan that has 3 carbs per meal in it, breakfast and lunch. Okay, that is a behavior change. An action has happened. Now they have applied their knowledge to their life, to their meal plan. And by doing that, that should be able to give them the results that they need. Part of it as well. It's not just, you just don't lose weight with just nutrition, but that is definitely a big thing. And for a person with diabetes, they should know how to not only identify carbs and what a carb is, but they also should know how to apply that to their daily meal plan. So I hope this helps. I know that was probably kind of wordy, but I did want to kind of iron that out for everybody, because this is something that will definitely help your patients get better patient outcomes. Okay, guys, that's all I have for you. Now, again, because we are talking about goal setting, I do want to remind you all that I have a whole SMART goal workbook. I'm going to leave the link down in the description box. It's free and it's included in the NP Diabetes Starter Pack. When you download that pack, not only will you get the workbook, but you'll get a myriad of other free cheat sheets and guides that will help you when it comes to managing your patients. Now, the next video that we're going to talk about, we're going to dive into diabetes self-management education, the process and the components that are in it. I mentioned that in a previous video and the importance of it, and that it's the foundation of diabetes care management. So if you're not subscribed already, you want to make sure that you do that. Ding that notification bell so you do not miss this upload. Also, if you're on social media, go ahead and follow me at the Diabetes MP. I post regularly and almost daily over there on Instagram, just quick tips and tricks and stuff like that. Again, you have been sitting here with Kim E, the Diabetes MP, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.